Well, hey guys, thanks for coming to day 3. We're going to change it up today and make this a little more webinar style instead of just straight video, because I want to walk you through a process. This is only going to take a few minutes, but this is one of the most important things. If you want to move from if you want to move from surviving to thriving in the next 120 days, the way you communicate with people is of utmost importance. And so let me just walk you through this. This is one of those things that a lot of pastors just don't take the time to do. And so we just really appreciate taking the time to do this and working through this. So day 3, Thrive Training, and here it is. You've got to drip the vision before you drop the vision. You've got to drip the vision before you drop the vision. Anytime you're going to be raising money, anytime you need to increase your operational budget, anytime you need to fund anything, you've got to drip the vision before you drop the vision. And you would say, well, what in the world does that mean? Well, what that means is that you drip your vision out slowly over time instead of dropping the vision on people like kind of shock and awe type thing. Now, what most pastors and what most ministry leaders do is that they just they show up and they do a worship service, 4 or 5 worship services, create a message series, and do a financial ask. And what happens is they'll get an increase, but then they get a decrease very quickly as well. So if you want a sustained increase, if you want to fund, move your budget to a whole nother level, very simply, you have to drip the vision before you drop the vision. Now, our model for this is Jesus. Jesus was an expert at dripping vision before he dropped vision. Now, what that meant is that he pulled aside his inner circle. He had 3 that he connected with at one level, then 12, then the 120, and then, the crowds and the masses, and so on. So there were concentric circles of influence and concentric circle of relationships that Jesus had. And the two things is that he was relational and he was intentional. And what he would do during his public ministry, I mean, think about this. He could have dropped the cross on him at 30 years old, but he took 3 years. And he paved the way and he dripped. He said, guys, there's going to come a day when I die. There's going to come a day that's going to happen. There's going to come a day. And he kept dripping the vision to them to tell them, hey, you're going to have much greater work to do than what we've even done. All this kind of stuff. And so he's dripping vision to them over time. And then when the cross was dropped, they were able to then go and make it happen. So the same is true in our leadership, that we got to drip vision before we drop vision. John Maxwell calls it having the meeting before the meeting. And so let's just take a look. If you're raising money, here's the concentric circles of leadership of how to do this in a good way, especially in our Thrive initiative that we've put together. And this is what we do. Seen work very well. The very first thing you need to do is connect with staff and spouses. And the reason why connecting with staff and spouses is so important is because so many people, when they're going to raise money, just have staff meetings and then they move forward. But what I've found in the churches I've worked with is the spouses are some of the most left out people when it comes to the vision of any people I've ever seen. And the reason why is because staff people get tired of talking about this stuff and they go home and they don't share all the details. And I know when I was on church staff and things like that, sometimes my wife would be the last to know even big information because, I'd been talking about it all day and I just didn't talk about it as much. And so if you're a senior leader or get your senior leader, the thing you need to do is to get your staff and spouses, get them to your house. And the very first thing is to have like a barbecue, a cookout, something where you can connect with them relationally and intentionally and lay out for them step by step what you're thinking and hear from them, hear their heart, connect with them, drip the vision to them in that way. And I promise this will go just light years with these people. You will build so much relational equity and credibility and all that kind of stuff with them. The best thing to do is, and if you don't want to just do, somebody over at your house, the best thing you can do is take them away for a night and do like a staff and spouses retreat. Take the spouses, very important. The next level of communication, anytime you're going to be raising money, is your elders, finance team, board, any type of governing bodies or anything that you have in your church. You want to communicate with them. Now, oftentimes you can get these two people groups together on one retreat or one night at your house or something like that. That works really, really, really well for funding vision and having both dynamics in the room. Or you can break it out. But what I would say is you don't want to do this in just your regular scheduled times. You want to create some special moments, some really relational moments. Always want to have food. Food's a good thing for anything, especially when you're raising money or increasing giving, that kind of thing. And so if you're going to build a culture of generosity, if you're going to build that, it's got to start with these people. And these people got to be bought in, and they got to say, hey, I'm willing to take my giving to the next level. And so these are the type of people that you connect with. Then you go out to your financial and your ministry leaders. Now, what this means is about the top 10% of your list. of givers that give to your operational budget and or your ministry leaders. Now, a ministry leader is not somebody just in a small group, but somebody who leads a small group. Somebody has a position of authority, somebody that's over other adults. Is kind of the way we put that, or over other students. They have not somebody who just works in the baby's room, but the person who is the coach over the baby's room, or the coordinator, or whatever you have in your church. And so these people you connect with. Now, the way you connect with them is you create magnet events that will be a draw and bring them in, where you do some fun stuff and you connect with them and you say, hey, listen, we don't usually do this, but let's do this, and connect. Another way to connect with them is through their normally scheduled meetings and times, and you connect in and you drip the vision. For instance, if you have a small group leader meeting, then maybe the senior pastor shows up and starts dripping the vision about what's going on, starts dripping the vision about, hey, in the next 120 days, here's what we're going to be doing, and we want you guys to know first, that kind of thing. So those are the people you connect with next. Then you go out to your involved people. That's when you get people that are just volunteers. They're not leaders of volunteers. They're just a volunteer, or they're in a small group or whatever. That's when you drip out to them. That's when you start communicating with them. Now, this is oftentimes the hardest group of people to connect with, and so the way you connect with them is through direct mail, email, and online communications. That's the best way to connect with this group, is through that. And so the other way to connect with them is through the streams that they're already connected in. And so here's what I mean by that. Let's just say you have a greeter team, and the people on the greeter team need to know about your Thrive initiative that you're going to be doing to raise raise your budget 20% over the next year, whatever it is, or to fund your objectives. We already talked about that in previous teachings. But what you want to do is you want to have maybe like a greeter meeting before church, where they circle up, they pray, and the leader of your greeter team is dripping down to them and talking to them about it, that kind of thing. And so it's just dripping the vision before you drop the vision. It's a simple process, but most people skip this when raising money. And then the last thing is your entire church. Now, the way you're going to drip to them is direct mail communications, getting them to a message series, and then that's when you're going to drop the vision. Now, we'll talk about that in the next video about how you do the message series and what that looks like. But I want you to make sure that before you start any type of fundraising, before you start trying to move generosity, this is the way you do it. You start slow, you start behind the scenes, and you help these people. Now, in our Thrive resource that we've got this step-by-step. We've got an entire section it's awesome. That we've done for you, that you can connect into. And so you can click below, or you can go directly to the website and get this, so we can help you in this drip process. I've got multiple videos where I walk you through what to say in a drip meeting. I've got all that kind of stuff. Well, I know this is a short training video. We don't have all the time in the world to do it, but just want to let you know, if you want to connect in, if you want my help, if you want to know what the secrets of some of the things of success that are happening in over 50 churches that I've personally walked through, then you want to connect in to the Thrive resource. It'll be well worth your time, well worth the investment, and I promise you will see results. So guys, connect over. Love to connect with you. If you have any questions, email me, Casey@givingrocket.com, and I'd love to connect with you any way possible. Thank you.